Welcome everybody who's now here in the lobby for our celebrity speaker session with David Beauchamp. Great to have you here with us. And David is one of Australia's leading players. He's represented Australia on numerous occasions. He's probably won every national event that there is kicking around, and very successful bridge player, teacher, and runs some excellent holidays, which some of the people in our audience this evening have been on. So, welcome into the lobby of the Sail Bridge Club game, David.
Well, thank you very much, Laura. So it was only about 3 years ago that I was in Sail Bridge Club and had a lovely time. And I came with another guy, John Macaras, on a bus tour. And John had a little chat to all the directors at the club, from my memory.
So you covered the bridge and John got to do all the boring stuff.
Oh, yeah, I did all the fun stuff. Let's bid some slams, have a good time. John said how do you, talk to the directors, what to do about revokes and all that stuff.
That definitely sounds like the better side of doing it than sitting around and talking director things. And this is coming from me as a director. So,
yeah, well, I'm a failed director. So I once did a club. That way you do a club directors course, and I just managed to pass that one.
Then stopped there.
Well, I stopped there and I directed some sessions, but I had a friend who was 90 years old, and some days I felt very tired, and I said to the 90-year-old lady, would she take over the directing job because I was too tired, and she came to my rescue.
At the sprightly age of 90. Good on her. Good on her.
It was great. She could do bridge right up till the time that she sadly passed away. She couldn't really see the cards anymore, but she could still teach people and direct. Fantastic for her.
Did you have any strategies for dealing with not being able to see the cards? I know that there's a book by Sontag, I think it is, The Card Turner, where they'd read out cards and things, play them.
Yeah, that's what her partner did. So her partner somehow told her what cards had been played at the table, and she was still able to play up till, I think, 2 weeks before she passed away. About 94, 95 years old.
That's lovely. Wonderful to hear. Yeah.
And when she first came to my class, she said, well, I don't really know, David, which ones are the spades or the clubs. So she'd never played any card games before.
Wow, that's very impressive. I don't think that if I had to learn bridge now, I don't think I would learn it. I think that it would just be far too much of a commitment, far too out of my comfort zone. And I'm very lucky that I had the opportunity to learn when I was quite young.
Who was your teacher, Laura?
I learned in Canberra from my grandmother. This brings me actually to one of my questions that I wanted to ask you. So I bugged my grandmother time and time again to teach me bridge, and she kept on refusing. And then finally she said, if you want to learn, come the Christmas holidays, I will teach you bridge. She thought I'd forget about it, and I never did. So Christmas holidays came along. She spent those Christmas holidays teaching me bridge. At the end of it, she invited a couple of friends around and we had a little tournament. It was very cute. And 2 years later, I was off in a bridge club playing in a duplicate session. And from 1999, the only bridge, I guess, score sheet that I have ever taken, and I still have to this very day, is when I came second in the duplicate in the blue section at the Belconnen something bridge club. And I thought that I had made it as a bridge player. I don't think that my feet even could touch the ground of the chair that I was sitting on. I think that I probably upset a few people by coming second, but I came second in that duplicate, and that's where I knew I had made it as a bridge player.
Oh, that's how you got the bug then.
Yep.
Well, that's odd, because I learnt bridge with my grandmother. We went to the Sydney Bridge Club when I was 15 to learn bridge. And after we'd been playing together for a few weeks, she said, David, I don't think you've got any future as a bridge player. I think you need to find a new bridge partner, she said. just meant I was pretty bad.
Yeah, you got dumped.
I got dumped. So it was a family tradition because my grandmother came from Vienna and she came to Australia in the 1930s. And my dad liked playing bridge. So that part of the family enjoyed bridge, but my mum and sister hated it. So they never liked it.
So was it really them bringing you in so they had a fourth to play with?
Yeah, maybe they needed me to make up the numbers. But I don't reckon. I
Mm.
reckon they were pretty happy to get rid of me. Thought I wasn't up to scratch as a player.
So after being dumped, probably having to dust yourself off from the embarrassment, family shame, agony of being dumped by your grandmother as bridge partner, how did you come back?
Well, there's a guy called Paul Lavings. Everyone will have heard of Paul Lavings. Paul Lavings has played with 10 different partners for Australia, and he first played for Australia in 1975. So in about the early 1980s, he set up a group for young players in Sydney. So he would mentor the players in the group. Everyone paid the large sum of $2 to play in the game, 1980s. So that was pretty amazing that he put all his time into helping young players.
It's amazing the people that have just really generated youth players from different areas. Paul doing that. Dorothy Jesner in Canberra did an absolutely amazing job there. Got it going in schools, and yeah, I remember even lots of different sessions where it seemed like every piece of furniture in her house had been moved to make room for a bridge table for us youngins to sit at.
So when I was a
Amazing stuff.
young'un, my bridge partner's name was Kate McClimate. Anyway, Kate and I played bridge together, and then many years later we met up again. And she said to me, "Well, David, you've done quite well at bridge." And I said, "Well, Kate, you've done much better than me." By the way, Kate McClimate's now the leading writer for the Sydney Morning Herald on corruption investigations, all kinds of investigations around Australia. So
Wow.
once again I was dumped as a bridge partner.
Seem to have a history there. Do you
That's
think that
true.
Kate will circle back and come join us at the bridge table in retirement?
Yeah, she's been to one of my bridge classes. Yeah, so she enjoys playing bridge, but she's
Good to
fairly
see.
busy.
And
Yeah, that's nice
I
to see that she's got time to play the occasional game of bridge.
yeah. When I was working as the promotions officer for the VBA, we set up a day where it was like a mind sports day, and we had the sort of Victorian Chess Association come run some stuff, and we ended up getting David Astle to come in and do some crosswords with us, and nearly thought I had a chance of getting him to become a bridge player. That'd be a good conversion there, I think.
Yeah, there's some pretty famous people around the world who have played bridge, aren't there?
There are.
Who's the most famous player, Laura, who you've played with or against at the bridge table?
Ooh, that's an interesting one. I have to admit, I was very starstruck. Hold on a second. Also, aren't I meant to be asking the questions?
Well,
Um,
I'm gonna tell you about mine in a minute.
all right, I'll go first then. I was starstruck when I was in Philadelphia in what would it have been, 2010, and I was on the Oz youth team on the under 21s, and there was I think the mixed, and I was playing with a Canadian partner, and we sat down at the table, and I was pretty raw, unexposed to the bridge world and all the rest of it, and just knew various names of conventions and things like that, and picked up a system card, and I was playing against Mike Capoletti, and
Uh,
I was starstruck and shocked.
yeah, so he's got that famous convention named after him. Funny thing is that lots of people have conventions named after them, including Paul Lavings, but they don't actually play their conventions. quite odd.
Yeah, I think it's you develop these things as a bit of a flight of fancy and then you realize their flaws and move on, but somehow the world's picked up on them and carried it on.
So I was sitting at the table in Verona, and a young guy turned up in a baseball cap, and he had a big chubby guy next to him who sat at the table. And I was surprised that he had that. And then I saw on the system card, and his name was Bill Gates. So that was
Ah,
quite a celebrity to turn up at the bridge table.
doesn't sound like he was partnering Warren Buffett though.
No, Warren wasn't there, but he did have a very attractive female partner playing with him.
With Bill.
It was Bill, yeah. She was kind of like
Nice.
his mentor. She was like his mentor at bridge. So he probably had a staff of 6 people looking after him at the bridge tournament. His own chef, a couple of bodyguards.
Far out. There you go. That was in Verona, was it?
That was in Verona, the World Championships in Verona. That's a
Lovely.
really beautiful city, that, playing bridge in Verona.
Where's the best place just for location that you've played bridge?
You were there too, Laura. The best place I've ever played was Lyon. Why it was so great was the venue was lovely. There was lovely parks, great eating, good wine. So that was the best. That was 2017. Is that right, Laura?
It was 2017. I was fortunate enough to go carry the bags for Pete when he was playing on the Australian Open team, and Dave was his teammate on that team. And it was just the best. It was so beautiful. As Dave says, there was just parkland behind the playing area. I got to experience that a bit more than probably Dave did because he had to go off and play bridge occasionally. But yeah,
Look,
those dinners out.
Laura was our coach, and also she managed to cook dinner for our team one night. And we had a lovely dinner that Laura cooked. So yeah, what a star
Yeah,
coach was.
I went and went exploring and found a little market in Lyon, and I went and decided I was doing a roast chicken, and got a chicken, and I didn't realize that when you get a chicken in France, that you get it with the head and you get all the organs in it and everything. So that was a bit of an experience. I thought about trying to find a way to do something good with them, but didn't really come up with anything. Yes, that
So one
was
other
definitely
That was a
great.
great experience. One other tournament I really liked was in 1984. I was invited to play in a tournament sponsored by the Epsom company in Tokyo, and that was fantastic because we were in downtown Tokyo, and then we'd play bridge in the daytime, and then the Japanese company would put on a banquet for everyone in the evening. That was a lovely experience playing bridge in Japan in 1984.
It
That was
sounds like it
before you
was.
were
Yeah,
born,
it
Laura,
sounds
isn't
like
it?
yeah, it was by a few years. Sounds like a lot of your favorite bridge playing experiences have been where good food's involved.
Yeah, food is very important. And my previous partner, Matthew Thompson, he thought food was so important in France that he'd go out for an hour before the bridge game, checking out restaurants for the evening meal. Yes,
It
meal
was
after the
very
bridge
convenient.
game and the red wine
We,
was very important.
with Matthew, we never had to think about where dinner was going to be because he'd already found the place, booked the place. It was all sorted, and every time it was €30 for a three-course meal. It was wonderful, wasn't it?
That was really good. And Ben and Jenny always came along, and they always loved their eating as well. A few
Yep, Ben
famous Victorian bridge
Thompson.
players.
Yeah, Ben Thompson was the president of the VBA a while back, or not that long ago, actually. And his wife Jenny came along too, and it was convenient because she really liked dessert and I really liked cheese. So we'd get our orderings, and she'd get my dessert, and I'd get double cheese. So that was perfect for me.
This is a good Ben Thompson story. Would any of the players know Ben Thompson?
I think
Would you
lots
know?
of the players would have seen Ben Thompson. There's definitely some that know Ben Thompson. We've got Diana Jacobs who in the audience, who is Bill Jacobs' wife.
Oh, hi, Diana. I know Diana. So anyway, Bill and I played on a team together in Hong Kong in 2013. So anyway, a minute ago we were with Ben Thompson. So he and I decided to play in the first ever tournament together that we'd played, and he passed as the dealer. And then when the bidding turned around to him next time, the opponents had opened one no trump and he doubled one no trump. Now, I had not one clue what to do, so I wonder what that double means. Whatever it means, I had about 12 points and I passed, and the opponents went down 1100. And I thought, wow, that Ben Thompson has a good nose for bridge.
That Ben Thompson certainly does. I think that I just finished up playing with him in the GNOT trial for Victoria, and if he ever writes a book on opening leads in defence, buy it. I reckon that thing will have all sorts of gems in it. That's my opinion there.
Yes, very tough part of bridge, finding the right opening lead.
So, in terms of your hot little tips, what do you think is the best tip? We're in a defence mode, so the best tip in defence that you could give for up and coming players?
Okay, well, that's a tough question. So I like to count the points around the table. So I kind of work out how many points how many I have, look at dummy, how many I expect to declare to have, and then I try to work out what partner will have. So if I have only 1 point, I'll be really keen to lead my short suits and try and get roughs, because the partner will have quite a good hand. If I have an opening hand and the opponent's in game, I'll know the partner has nothing. So then leading a singleton won't be top of my hit list. Is that kind of fair answer?
I think that's an awesome answer. And I think that it kind of touches on one of the really important parts of the game, which is really trying to visualize the hands you can't see. I think we get too caught up in our own hand and our own little world there, but need to do a bit more. And counting points, especially if there's been preempts, I find is really handy, or just whenever declare is limited, it makes it nice and easy for you. One thing
Yeah, I
that,
think it's easier
yeah,
to be a declarer, because as a declarer, you only have to look at your hand and dummy, and that seems easier to play for me. Defending's much harder because you've got to visualise your partner's hand, declarer's hand. That's quite a hard skill and takes a long time to master, I think.
I think that's one area where online bridge is kind of underrated, because there's a lot of time that when you're dummy, you probably spend just zoning out. But I think people need to use that time a little bit more wisely to try to make a plan as if they were their partner, the declarer, and just practice those skills of counting points, counting shape, and thinking about the hands they can't see. And it's the perfect time to be able to do it, because when you're at the table, of course, you can't see partner's hand when they're declaring. But when you're online, you can.
Yeah, that's a good point. So when I play the hands, they're normally over. I go 4 off in about 30 seconds. But when my partners play, they're a lot slower. So I've normally got quite a long time to look around the room and see what's going on.
Yeah. We've got just a couple of more minutes. At 2 minutes before game time, we will have our players whisked away to their table to enjoy the session tonight. But just one thing, I guess, that I'd like to know, because I don't know if I've seen it very often, is that behind every great man, of course, there's an even better woman. And Dave's wife, Anita, is one of the best bridge players in Australia. And I was just wondering if you and Anita ever have a game, and what your thoughts on spouses playing together are.
Wow, that's a good question. I better be careful. She's in the next room. So my wife is a very considered player and she's an excellent defender. Um, She tends to not enjoy playing bridge with me because she says that I'm too intense, which I don't think I am, but she says. And she has a few other partners, and their names are all David, which is interesting. She only plays bridge with Davids. Won't play with any Peters or anyone else, only Davids. So she's done very well in bridge. She's played for Australia in the ladies' team. She went to China and also in New Zealand. We probably have a game once a year when we're on holidays overseas. We like to go to a bridge club overseas and see what the bridge clubs are like around the world. So yeah, a dangerous thing, husband and wives playing bridge together.
Certainly is. Definitely been the cause for a few blow-ups and divorces and who knows what else.
Yeah, I think one has to be very calm playing with your life partner. Needs to be. And in any bridge partnership, it's really important that there are no postmortems at the table and that at the end of the hand we can move on and be in a cheery mood and discuss things after the game's over, not at the table.
And preferably over a glass of wine.
That's even better. Yes, indeed.
So that wraps up our pre-game discussion. So shortly you will be whisked away to your table. Dave will be back after the game joining us in the lobby to discuss some of the hands. He's told me there are a few firecrackers coming up. So I hope you enjoy the game and we'll see you back here afterwards. Bye for now.
Good luck, everyone. Good luck.